This is the Fan Connection Podcast where we talk all things sports entertainment. We're your hosts. I'm Royce Michaels.
And I'm Devin Steele.
Let's get right into it. The Raw episode for June 24th, we kick it off with Drew McIntyre cutting a promo on how he did CM Punk on SmackDown. Apparently, he's got an AJ Lee and Larry bracelet.
Yeah, apparently that's what he took from CM Punk's wrist after beating him down, and he's basically the same Drew McIntyre spiel that he's been doing,
right?
Where he's upset because people are cheering CM Punk, and CM Punk keeps doing bad things to him.
But is Drew McIntyre in too deep at this point?
I think he's in too deep to let it go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like he's After SmackDown and seeing the bracelet thing on Raw, I'm like, yeah, he's taking this to a whole nother level of, I'm going to make this an obsession.
Yeah, he's definitely making it personal. I think this is going to come to a head at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get the match soon, you know.
And Drew claimed in that segment, he said he's going to win the Money in the Bank contract and cash it in the same night in order to face CM Punk at SummerSlam. That'd be pretty crazy.
It would, but also Drew McIntyre has to qualify for the match, you know, like who is he going to be in a match with
and
to qualify?
now a few people have qualified that I wouldn't mind seeing win.
That's what I'm saying too.
So
we've got a pretty stacked men's Money in the Bank card for this year.
This year, all the names have been good picks.
And there's a lot of the younger guys, we finally get to see how good they can work in an extreme environment too, you know.
I've got something to say about younger talent once we get into our next topic, which is Ludwig Kaiser defeats Braun Breaker by disqualification after Sheamus runs in and cost him the match.
Sheamus had to get his get back on Kaiser from last week.
It's just the same thing that happened last week, but this time Sheamus ran in instead. And I'm not going to complain about it. It's a good match. Kaiser's a good worker. Braun's a good worker. Sheamus is a good worker. They're all entertaining.
And storyline-wise, Sheamus should be pissed because he technically should be facing Sami Zayn, not Braun Breaker. Because by DQ, he technically won. So he's got a reason to be mad about it, you know?
Yeah, bro. Braun Breaker he's becoming fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like when he accelerates like that, he gets up to 23 miles an hour, I think they said it was. It's crazy how quick he can clear the ring.
Yeah, and also, like, because we're speaking on two different people right now that are younger talent. Kaiser, man, we've talked about this off the podcast, but, like, dude, he can work, and, like, Braun Breaker's slowly winning us over. Them two guys are good, bro.
And I guess I can go ahead and say what I was going to say, but with younger talent, WWE seems to desperately be trying to build the next stars right now.
Right.
They didn't do a good job of building stars in the past years. I mean, mainly the Wyatts and the guys from the Shield, and that's really about it. And so I mean, me and you have been around for a while watching WWE and keeping up with it, and we've seen eras come and go.
Right.
And now this is a new era. That's what they said when WrestleMania 40 has shown up. It's the beginning of a new era, and I feel like it really does feel like one.
Yeah, because like when we was in school watching wrestling, we had the Authority era with, you know, like Stephanie and Triple H.
Guys like Santos Escobar and Andrade and all these different factions and people like that, they would never be on television.
No, they wouldn't have as much of a chance they do now. I know that for a fact. But see, that's the cool thing about it because we get to see people like Kaiser and Braun Breaker go out there, dude, and like, dude, they have good matches.
These two fresh new faces just get out there and show us what they can do.
Because, like, that match didn't even get to finish, but it was still a banger, you know?
And mark my words, I'm going to make a bold prediction now. Braun Breaker will be the World Heavyweight Champ within 2 years from his debut.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm calling Braun Breaker to win the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble.
That's a crazy prediction.
That's a bold prediction.
That's a minute from now.
That is. But I mean, he's got time to build it up, man. I'm calling Braun Breaker winning. Unless he gets hurt before then, Braun Breaker's winning the Royal Rumble.
And I want to say the spear spot they did on the outside of the ring, where Kaiser was up on Sheamus's shoulders, and then Braun Breaker spears Sheamus, that looked dangerous. Like, they fell on top of each other. Like, that looked like somebody could have got hurt.
It was a solid spot, though. I loved it. It was crazy looking, and I feel like somebody probably did hurt. They just probably didn't say nothing, you know.
Breaker's heavy over though, and I see why technically they want him in the match with Sammy instead of Sheamus.
Yeah, me too. Moving on to our next match, Lyra Valkyria defeated Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, and she qualified for the Money in the Bank.
The right person went over in this match. Kairi Sane would have been cool. But
yeah, I honestly thought she was going to win. I thought Kairi was going to get the W in that.
Honestly, on that, with Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, there really just wasn't very much from them in this match. They didn't really do anything.
I did notice that because it seemed more like a 1v1 match between Lyra Valkyria and Shayna Baszler the whole time to me. You know what I mean?
Shayna Baszler, bro, something's got to change on her end. Because she's not important, bro. It's like her gimmick needs to change or something. They need to like get her some developmental help. Something needs to change because if I was her and I was sitting in the ring and I was being passed up for all these opportunities, Queen of the Ring, Money in the Bank, I mean she's not tag team championship match. She didn't win that either. And I'm seeing people like Lyra Valkyria get in front of me and they just come up to the roster. I'm going to be like, well, what needs to change?
Exactly.
Her and that other little girl that they tag team with need to change. Because all they're ever going to be at the moment is space fillers.
Going back to Lyra Valkyria winning, it's at the same time as, you know, like what we was talking about with the men's Money in the Bank. They're trying to push the younger talent with the female side too. We've never seen it on both sides of the spectacle where how like they're putting like these younger guys and younger women in the, you know, like they're both on both sides is pushing them, and that's good to do. Like that, we've never had that either, you know.
And I think she was a good choice. I think she'll show out for the pay-per-view. Zelina and Liv Morgan had a segment after this. And genuinely, I thought Zelina Vega did pretty well. Like, she usually has some issues, I feel like, with her speaking, but her promo was actually pretty solid.
I just, in general, think Zelina Vega wants a title shot she does not deserve.
Yeah, and bro, that's why I'm sitting here, I'm like, a title match on Monday Night Raw? You're not even going to be at Money in the Bank? Okay, well, you know, that shows me how much of a threat Zelina Vega is to the World Heavyweight Championship.
And that's, I mean, I really ain't got a lot to say on Zelina Vega, bro, because I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan's going to retain.
I kind of want to talk about Liv in the Judgment Day just a little bit, where, like, Dominic and that whole ordeal. And she, like, got them a PlayStation and stuff like that. And she sent some pictures of some kind on Dominic's phone with Carlito. He said, "That's cool." Liv sending nudes out here. What's going on WWE?
Somebody needs to get a hold of her. And
also, how do I become part of the Judgment Day? that's what I'm wondering.
Moving on, Chad Gable defeated Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. We're getting Gable in the Money in the Bank match. All he's got to do is go prove Otis wrong.
Honestly, bro, I really enjoyed this match. I love Braun Strowman. One big SOB. Yeah. Pat McAfee wasn't there. Michael Cole had to fill in.
He tried.
But he did a good job. Good enough, right?
Yeah.
Did you see like Gable was selling the Uncle Howdy attack pretty well? He was like spinning around in circles, looking around.
Yeah, he was definitely acting sketch on
Yeah,
his way
and
to the
he
ring.
had like the stuff on his head.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of the show when Chad Gable was walking through, they had like security with him,
yeah.
and he passed an Alexa Bliss thing on the side of the truck that he walked past.
I did see. I seen a post after after Raw went off, and I seen that. So maybe we're gonna get Alexa Bliss back.
It's definitely some kind of like foreboding because like we haven't seen Alexa Bliss anything for a while, and then we're gonna see her just right
Yeah, because
there.
like, why would she be on a truck if she's not coming?
Yeah, and so I can see what Braun Strowman like why he has nothing to do with the Wyatt Six so far. Um, he doesn't need to be part of the Wyatt Six right now, and I feel like our complaints were heard, and Braun Strowman's been utilized pretty well on the past couple episodes of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, he's been working a lot more fluent.
And it's a low hanging fruit, though. The Wyatt Six will come calling for Braun Strowman at some point. And now that Chad Gable is the target of the Wyatt Six and has qualified for the Money in the Bank, does that mean the Wyatt Six could have some kind of influence on the Money in the Bank ladder match?
That would be insane. I've heard a lot of people talking about that, and I wouldn't put it past them doing that. That'd be really interesting. I'd love to see it.
And that's just like a little prediction, a little speculation, if you will. In the match as well, I just want to point out the Judgment Day run in, and they jump Braun Strowman again. I thought for a second maybe Braun Strowman was unjumpable. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like he was fighting back all five of them: Carlito, Dom, JD, Finn Balor. I think Liv Morgan was out there too,
yeah.
and I like he was stomping everybody. It looked like he was about to win, and then he got jumped. But as far as Gable winning the match, the only thing I've got to say about that is that's how you do it, Otis, you dumbass.
Yeah, let Master Gable cook.
And now you guys are off TV, and Gable's going to the Money in the Bank ladder match. So who needed who?
Yeah, Otis, you think you tricking us? Y'all were getting kicked out of the locker room. You weren't leaving the
Yeah,
locker
you weren't
room.
leaving. You got kicked out. Moving on though, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defeat Chance and Carter. Okay,
That's all I had to say about it. The match was kind of like, I don't know if they're trying to build it to like give them a title match maybe in the future or something, but I don't think Alba Fire and Dawn are like really, like people aren't looking at them as champions and they're champions. You know what I mean?
well they're very new, recent champions.
So like a lot of people don't even know them, and they're trying to like trying to start a rivalry, and I'm like, well, we don't know who really either one of these teams are.
And I mean, this victory was meant to keep champion momentum, right?
Right.
And also they're setting up another triple threat with Damage Control. Damage Control, Chance and Carter, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn for the women's tag team championships. And I feel like we'll probably see them change hands.
We could, but see, Kaden Carter and Chance, they have held tag team titles before. So Alba Fire and Dawn, like this is a good, that'd be a good thing because Damage Control's won titles too. So that's all like former champs.
The handstand move that they did, Chance and Carter, they did like a handstand spot.
Yeah.
That was so cool. That looked like a circus thing.
Yeah.
I kind of went into this match where I didn't really care, but I was pleasantly surprised, low-key impressed by the champions because they had a really cool tag team finisher. They all kind of showed out. I genuinely thought that match was pretty good, and I want to note that Kairi Sane managed to make it on the TV on Raw twice.
Yep.
In one night, so good for her.
Moving on to the Seth Rollins and Damian Priest segment. It got pretty intense when we found out that if Damian loses, he might get kicked out of the Judgment Day.
And honestly, I think the time has come for Damian Priest to have a singles championship run.
He said it himself that they need him more than he needs them.
Well, maybe not a championship run, but more of a singles run in general. Because I genuinely think it will be Seth versus Gunther. I think I think there's going to be Judgment Day shenanigans with Liv Morgan, and it's going to end up costing Damian Priest the match, and then he's going to be out of Judgment Day.
Yeah, and he wouldn't want to be in Judgment Day anyway if they would help him. Like, you know, the reason that he loses the match. You know what I mean?
And then that's going to set up for Rhea Ripley to come back and take control of the Judgment Day again by defeating Liv Morgan.
I could see that. That'd be perfect ending to that.
Because Liv Morgan said she was coming for everything that Rhea Ripley loved. And
Right.
that's the title, the Judgment Day, and Dom.
Right.
And the only one she doesn't have is the Judgment Day right now. And she's slowly winning them over. Everyone but Damian. But in that as well, Gunther come out and practically said, it doesn't matter who wins at Money in the Bank because you're not getting through me. He says none of that matters.
It doesn't matter who wins at Money in the Bank because whoever faces me at SummerSlam is losing.
Yeah, and I believe him. Could Seth Rollins beat Gunther? Probably. But will he? No. Damian couldn't beat him.
Nah, man. They're setting that up perfectly because Seth Rollins will get his title back. And I see Gunther facing Seth Rollins, and then it'll be a hell of a match, and Gunther will beat him.
And I think the reason why is, like we said, Damian had trouble working at Clash at the Castle in the main event. And I think they're going to put it on Seth so they know that he won't choke in the main event.
And see, then we'll get Braun Breaker and Gunther at WrestleMania because Braun Breaker's winning the Royal Rumble.
That'd be so crazy.
That'd be a good match.
Moving on, Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy. There was a little video segment.
The one that's Nikki Cross brought out a VHS tape to Michael Cole.
Really?
Yeah, and they had to find a little, a VHS player, and we end up getting the interview between Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy. And that was kind of cool to me because I was like, like I was talking to you, but I was wondering if, like, is Bo Dallas like the sixth member of the White Six or something because they're trying to play a double personality on him?
Is it a split personality thing, you think?
I think it is, man, because, I mean, there was only 5 of them. There's 6. Bo Dallas can't be out there because he was Uncle Howdy, obviously. So, like, maybe he's just, like, when he's Bo Dallas, he thinks that the Uncle Howdy stuff is somebody else,
I don't know. It's definitely heartbreaking, a little like storytelling, because a lot of it comes from a very real place, but it's good. It's good so far. I didn't see any Bo leaving though.
No, but that's for the best, I think.
He was saying everyone tried to forget about them. Everyone tried to forget about them after Bray died.
He also said that when he asked how you feel about your brother dying and everything, dude, he got like in depth about how the faction's gonna work. Like he pretty much gave details and clues on how they're gonna be. So like we know how Bo Dallas was. We can clearly see it's gonna be a direct opposite of that. Plus we have these other people with him, so it's gonna be an interesting turnout. Hopefully they do something at Money in the Bank.
In the next match, Karrion Kross defeats Kofi Kingston. Big whoop. Like, what even is this feud, man?
I don't care about Kross. The beef they have with the New Day is stale to me, because, like, he only even beat Kofi because AOP was beating up Woods backstage. Like, that's like, like, that's what they kind of do every time. Like, last time I feel like Xavier Woods was fighting him and they jumped Kofi or something.
AOP always just gets beat up anyway.
Yeah, and like backstage they'll be beating somebody up. So it's like kind of the same and then the same. Like I'm not really getting into the AOP.
It's just a waste of our time. Get on with breaking the New Day up if that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, because I mean Woods would probably get released.
And the AOP of all people are gonna be the ones to do it, to break the New Day up.
And I don't see Kross and the AOP. I don't see them lasting over a year, man.
And I don't want to talk about the AOP and New Day anymore. Let's talk about the main event. Forget about them, man.
We got Finn Balor and JD McDonough defeating Awesome Truth. JD McDonough finally got his title.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That was actually like a pretty solid main event for Raw as well. A tag team title defense.
And obviously, it was the Judgment Day, so you had to have Liv Morgan playing her shenanigans.
Only thing I'm kind of upset about is R-Truth really wasn't in the match. He only got tagged in like one time.
And they made him look really stupid, man. And to me, he's too good at wrestling to make him look like that. You know, like they could have distracted the Miz too. You know, like they didn't even do that. They were only trying to distract
The Miz was
R-Truth.
dominating the whole match.
Yeah, he was
wiping out the whole Judgment Day.
I literally thought they were gonna win because the Miz was doing so well in the match.
He like did springboards and the double DDT and like his signature clothesline in the corner. Like he did everything, and he just whooped all their asses. Braun come back out and he chased off the Judgment Day members. I guess for revenge for being jumped.
Right.
But yeah, pretty much Liv Morgan cost the Awesome Truth the match because Truth was right about to finish them off, and
She hit him with a co-breaker.
yeah, she pretty much did a hot shot like on the top rope, and that was all it took.
But I mean, good for JD McDonough, right?
It really is the Judgment Day's brand, ain't it?
Right.
Raw is Judgment Day's show. Until it becomes Monday Night Rollins once again.
Moving on to SmackDown for June 28th. We start SmackDown with Rhodes, Orton, and Owens fighting the fake bloodline and security as well. It started out kind of like how it starts out on SmackDown. We get the bloodline walking out, and then you get them walking out, and I'm like, well, here we go. We're not waiting for Money in the Bank. And then they actually started fighting. That was a little different.
Yeah, they brawled all over Madison Square Garden. And no Jacob Fatu, though, during that segment. It was really, honestly, a pretty one-sided beatdown. Like, the faces kind of just dominated the bloodline. And, I mean, everybody just did a good job. Solo come out with his new theme and everything, and I really like it. And KO was doing swantons and stunners,
Through tables.
RKOs.
Then they started messing with security and cops.
That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of wondering. I'm like, since when did faces start beating up security members and cops?
That's what I'm saying. Because every time they've done a standpoint like that, the heel always like kind of cowers away, you know, and the face always fights the guys standing in between them. I'm like, this is a new turn. I like this. You know, it is kind of cool seeing something different like that.
And I think this match is going to be really good at Money in the Bank.
But it's definitely leading us more into the Bloodline Civil War, I think.
And the Roman chants persist. As much as Solo Sikoa wants them to go away, the Roman chants persist.
And then after that, they pretty much told him to leave.
Pretty much,
leave
yeah.
MSG.
They ejected all three of them from the building, and the Bloodline just like they didn't get any consequences. They just got to hang out.
And then going into our first match of the night, we had your girl, Tiffany Stratton, defeating Jade Cargill and Candice LeRae. She qualified for Money in the Bank.
Center of the universe, Tiffany Stratton. My prediction's going to come true.
We're getting Tiffy time at Money in the Bank?
Yes, we are. But what I don't understand is why Nia Jax has such a goofy plan. She's going to align with somebody who's planning to win the same title that she's going after.
That's also what I was thinking. Because, like, her being Queen of the Ring, she faces that brand's champion, you know? So, like, she could only fight Bayley right now. So, if she wins Money in the Bank, she's just going to turn on her own brand?
So, here's my big prediction, bro. Tiffany Stratton wins the Money in the Bank contract and then cashes it in on Nia Jax at SummerSlam.
That's bold. You might be right. I could see that happening.
Nia Jax wins the match with Bayley, just barely. Tiffany Stratton comes in and wins.
Because Nia would be gassed.
Yep.
I could see it.
And I just want to say this as well. Tiffany Stratton is every bit of an athlete. You know, she's every much as powerful and as good as Jade Cargill. They build Jade Cargill up to be this powerhouse, but Tiffany Stratton is every bit as powerful.
I guess that's why they got Tiffany Stratton going to Money in the Bank. I want to say about Candice LeRae though, like I really don't know who she is that much wrestling wise, but I do know I liked her theme song.
Yeah, and Indy Hartwell kind of instigated in the match. She distracted Jade Cargill,
Right.
and like kind of cost her opportunity. But in my opinion, the right choice went over. I have nothing to complain about. Good match.
The next match we have LA Knight defeating Logan Paul and Santos Escobar. He qualified for the Money in the Bank.
Another good choice. It could have been any of them though. I would have been fine with any three.
I called to win Santos, but I don't think they were gonna do. I just don't want him to do the LA Knight thing where if he was to win the Money in the Bank, I don't want him to cash in on the U.S. title.
They don't need to cash in on the U.S. title.
I'd rather see him like cash in on Cody or something because like he may not win that match, but that'd still be a pretty decent match, you know. Like Cody's liable to give him another chance down the road or something.
And Logan Paul seems to always have the crossovers. Is like all these random guys just.
I didn't
show
like
up.
the NBA player thing, dude. I'm not gonna. I may be the only one, but I really didn't like that.
I don't know anything about NBA. I don't guess I'm like offended or anything. But it's like it doesn't add anything for me because I don't really care about NBA. I don't know who those guys are.
And he gave the dude the knuckles, right? And he didn't even use them. And the dude had the chair, and did you notice LA Knight tried to jerk it out of his hand?
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. Like that guy was like, "No, I got this."
Yeah. It was Jalen Bronson teaming up with LA Knight in that segment, and then Tyrese Halliburton. They're both apparently big NBA guys.
The one that was helping LA Knight apparently plays for the Knicks, and the other one was an Indiana Pacer. That's what I've heard. Good for them.
Yeah, good.
They got on some WWE TV.
Good for them, bro. And LA Knight, good choice. Like I said, it could have been any of them though. Next match, Naomi defeats Indy Hartwell and Blair Davenport.
And you know, we just talked about it. Indy Hartwell came out and got in Jade Cargill's business, so Jade Cargill came out and got Indy Hartwell's business.
Yeah, she just come out and instigated.
Naomi get the win. I really didn't like the match that much. But
I didn't think there was very much sustenance to the match because who cares about Indy Hartwell and Blair Davenport? Naomi is the obvious pick.
Like, just to me, bro, like the Tiffany Stratton qualifying match was so much better than the Naomi qualifying match to me.
A lot better.
So, I mean, good for Naomi, but I mean, you know, they could have stepped it up a little bit. I don't know. She's just scared of the newer girls or something. You know, doesn't want to get hurt or something.
I think she's probably just kind of guiding them through, right? Like she's getting them up to the main roster speed.
Right.
So I mean, that's just that.
Then we're gonna roll things over to our bloodline acknowledgement ceremony again.
Fifth one, yeah, like the fifth one.
Rest in peace, Paul Heyman.
Why would they do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to Paul Heyman?
The look on that man's face before he went through the announcement table said it all.
I like, why? To the GOAT?
It was a great segment. Paul Heyman does it best, man. Like, once he got the necklace out of the bag, you know, he had the little bag and nobody knew what it was. He got it out of the bag and everybody's like, "Oh, how'd you get that?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to acknowledge you." And then everybody's like, "He's dead."
Dude, the pop on when he said, "I acknowledge you are not my tribal chief," that shit gave me goosebumps.
Dude.
Like, it was loud. Madison Square Garden, every single person in that building erupted.
And I just want to say, Paul Heyman, the way he looked with his beard all scruffy, his eyes looking bloodshot.
Nobody does it like Paul Heyman. He's committed. Like, he looked like he had been stressed for, like he hadn't slept in days.
And he'd been crying. Like, he really misses Roman Reigns. Like, he's doing so good with that.
Nobody does it like Paul Heyman. And the bloodline, bro, Solo Sikoa, whether we like it or not, he is the tribal chief.
Well, you said on the last episode that you're acknowledging Solo, after seeing what he did to Paul Heyman, are you still standing with that because you know who's coming?
I can't stand with Solo anymore. Is like how can I support Paul Heyman getting powerbombed through the announcement table?
He's
The
our
GOAT,
favorite.
the GOAT. How can I sit here and say I acknowledge you, my tribal chief? I hope Roman Reigns beats your ass, Solo. I tried, dude. I tried to acknowledge him, right? It's like I tried. Like he said,
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, like you said, Solo.
I tried. I loved you. It felt so real, dude. It like the bloodline story just feels so real.
And once Jacob FATU finally came out, dude, the look on Heyman's face, because all night he's like, he's not here, like, dude, that was just so good, because he literally got tears in his eye. He was about to cry.
Bro, we should have known something was up when the heroes had to leave the building at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, but like, I was figuring one of the announcers or somebody was gonna get messed over. I didn't think Paul Heyman.
But he brings out the tribal chief ceremonial necklace. It's called an ulafala.
Ulafala.
And I suppose Paul Heyman assumes they killed Roman Reigns or they hurt him really bad.
Yeah, because Solo did say Roman Reigns is never coming back.
Yeah, he said he's not coming back. Like there was no chance whatsoever.
And then now he's getting inducted like that. So what'd they do with Roman Reigns? Where's our boy, man?
All I can say is that is a Shield powerbomb bump through the table at 58 years old. You've got to give him props.
Paul Heyman did say, "I will do anything for the bloodline segments."
And if anyone had any doubt, your worries have been calmed, and Paul Heyman is the GOAT, undeniably.
In other sports entertainment news, the Hardy Boys are free agents in TNA. You think we could get a comeback, like a type of, like they might induct them into the Hall of Fame or something eventually, let them win a tag title or something?
I don't think it's a question of if, it's a question of when. The Hardy Boys are definitely going in the Hall of Fame, despite everything that's happened in their careers. And I don't think there is a place for their career to end other than in WWE.
Yeah, dude, because some of our like all-time favorite matches happen to be tag team Hardy Boys matches, either between Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys. Like they've had some banger matches, man. Like they put on and put out every single match they had back then.
Been around for a long time, been all over the world, and they're both very talented. Both know what they're doing. A lot of respect for the Hardy Boys.
I can't wait to get them back. I just don't know. I just don't know which one I'd rather see: the Hardy Boys come back, or do we want to see Brother Nero
and
Broken Matt Hardy?
Whenever they did come back the last time when they returned at WrestleMania and won the tag team titles, do you think the pop will be bigger now than it was then?
Oh, probably, because the fans are probably going to know this is like, this is their last little...
This is the last time.
Yeah, this is their last jump, so this is the fans are going to be behind them regardless, I think, it's the Hardy Boys. But that's about it on the news, other sports news we have this episode.
Yeah, and there was a lot to talk about over the few shows and stuff. And
Raw and SmackDown were pretty interesting leading up to the Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank matches we're gonna have soon.
And the stakes were raised. I'm ready to see who's gonna fill the last spots in the Money in the Bank match, and then we can make our formal predictions of who we think's taking the briefcase.
Right, because we'll also probably get another Uncle Howdy segment on Raw as well. We'll also get another Bloodline segment on SmackDown as well. So we'll have a lot more to talk about next podcast as well.
Things are getting crazy because SummerSlam is right around the corner.
Yeah, WWE's kicking in gear, and so are we.
Do you think we could expect a Brock Lesnar return for SummerSlam? That is his pay-per-view. He's in a lot of trouble, though.
I don't see it happening.
He's in a lot of trouble.
I do not see it happening. He may get a segment where he gets to like talk to somebody like Braun Breaker or somebody. Like they just put it, that he might have something like that. He'd still get a pop from the crowd. But I don't think they finna put him out there in the ring or nothing.
Maybe it hasn't been long enough.
Not long enough.
But with that said, that is the podcast for this week.
Like, share, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, really help us out with the algorithm. Leaving a comment and just, letting us know, like saying good job or whatever like that is really helpful to us. And if you could leave a like, we'd appreciate it. Thank you for listening. But for now, the Fan Connection podcast is out of here.